All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to get into something pretty profound. It's all about how we understand our own experience, like right now, in this very moment. And trust me, it's a way of looking at things that's going to challenge pretty much everything you think you know about who you are and how you see the world. So let's just jump right in with a question that honestly kind of gets to the heart of this whole thing.
Just sit with that for a second. It's a little weird, right? Kind of throws you off balance. And that's the point. This question is designed to make us face this huge, fundamental mix-up that we all live with all the time. You know, that gap between the world as it actually is and the world that we're constantly building up in our heads. So let's be real. Most of the time, we're not actually here in the present moment. Nope, we're living in this world that's completely made up of ideas and concepts. We're just lost in thought. Thinking about people, thinking about places, worrying about what we need to do later, replaying what happened yesterday. We are constantly, and I mean constantly, building a story in our minds.
And this is where it gets really interesting, especially when you think about our relationships. The idea here is that you don't actually live with a person, say Elizabeth. What you're really living with is the idea of Elizabeth, the thought of her. The real, actual interaction, it's just a flicker. A moment of seeing, a moment of hearing, a moment of thinking. But what do? We bundle all those tiny moments up into this big, continuous story, and we're always just clinging to the next moment. And because of that, we completely miss what's right in front of us, right now.
Okay, so if we're living in our stories most of the time, then where is life actually happening? This question brings us to the absolute core of this whole thing. And honestly, it's a pretty radical idea. It might even sound a little shocking the first time you hear it. So let's break this down piece by piece.
There it is. That's the whole thing. Life isn't some long movie that just keeps rolling. It's more like a series of single individual frames. It only, and I mean only, exists in this one tiny instant. The instant of seeing something, or hearing something, or thinking something. Just now. And get this, the second that moment happens, poof, it's gone, completely vanished. That sound you just heard, it's gone, forever. The image you just saw, it doesn't exist anymore. It's not like it's stored away in some memory bank. It has just ceased to be.
And that phrase, a momentary death, it just nails the finality of it all, doesn't it? Every single moment of experience, like hearing a sound, it arises, it's there, and then it's gone with this incredible totality. There is no actual real continuity. The only continuity is the story that our mind scrambles to create by stitching all these dead moments together after they're already gone.
So you see the problem, right? This is the great misunderstanding that shapes our entire experience of life. We are constantly mistaking the concept, the story we tell ourselves, for the actual reality. And unpacking that difference, well, that's the whole key to seeing clearly.
Okay, let's look at this side by side. It makes it super clear. On one side, you've got the world of concepts, the idea of seeing something, the whole backstory you've created about a person, your thoughts about the world. And on the other side, you've got raw reality, direct experience, the seeing that just sees, the sound that is just heard. It's just an element, a piece of experiencing, with zero story attached to it.
And this is the real kicker. This is the biggest consequence of that confusion. The entire idea of a solid, permanent me, an I or a self, it only exists because we don't get this distinction. We think there's an I who is doing the seeing, but in reality, there's just seeing. That I is just another concept, another idea we slap on top of the raw experience.
All right, so if that's the problem, what's the fix? What's the solution? Well, the path we're talking about here is all about developing a very specific kind of understanding. It's like a tool that helps you see clearly. And that tool has a name, Panya.
Now, Panya isn't about book smarts or intellectual stuff, not at all. It's a direct, sharp, precise kind of knowing. It's the ability to see a moment of, say, seeing for exactly what it is, just an element of experience, without layering on that story of I am seeing. It's what cuts right through the story and gets to the reality underneath. You know, sometimes the best way to understand what something is to first understand what it isn't. And this path is not about trying really hard to watch something. It's not about picking an object and trying to focus on it. It's definitely not about forcing concentration. Why? Because all of that stuff comes from that same old mistake, the belief that there's an I in the driver's seat who can control everything.
Yeah, this quote just nails it. Anytime you're trying to control your experience, trying to force something to happen, you're just feeding that illusion of a self who's in charge. The real path, the path of Panya, is the total opposite. It's about letting go of the steering wheel and just noticing what's already here, exactly as it is.
So what's the point of all this? Where does it lead? Well, it leads to a really profound kind of freedom. Because when you start to see the world through this lens, through Panya, your whole relationship with your emotions, it just radically changes. Things like attachment or anger, you stop seeing them as your personal flaws and start seeing them as something else entirely. And here's the key takeaway. That feeling of attachment, it's not your attachment, it's just an impersonal thing that pops up when the conditions are right, and then it goes away. Same thing with aversion or anger. They aren't you, they are not self. They're just what I call conditioned realities. And the freedom, the real freedom, doesn't come from trying to crush these feelings. It comes from understanding them so clearly, so precisely, that you just stop identifying with them. You stop taking them so personally.
This is exactly why fighting our feelings just doesn't work. It's a losing game. Because the real problem isn't the attachment. The real problem is the I that says, this is my attachment. So the path isn't about giving up a feeling. It's about understanding reality so deeply, so directly, that the I itself, that whole idea of a separate self, just starts to, well, dissolve.
So we're not going to wrap this up with a neat little bow. This explainer doesn't end with an answer. Instead, it ends with an invitation. It turns the spotlight right back on you, right back to this moment, now. Because the chance to understand this stuff, it's not in some future time, it's not in some book. It's right here, in the incredibly simple, fleeting reality of what you're experiencing right now. So really, there's only one question left to ask. When are you going to begin?